Mars, Marduk, and Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. More accurately, between verses 1 and 2. This is going to be a shorter broadcast. Welcome to the new Cosmic Knowledge YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Daugherty. And we break boundaries, we expand envelopes, we pulverize paradigms, and we take you here on this channel to places that you've never been before. And that's what we're doing here again tonight, talking about Mars, Marduk, and Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 and 2, more accurately between verses 1 and 2. I'm had this on my whiteboard for a long time to clear it off the whiteboard. And this is going to be short. This is going to be sweet. And this is going to be one of those quick hitters that makes you go, gives you some interesting stuff to think about. So let's talk first of all, if we can, about Mars. So let's talk about Mars first of all. And if you know much about Mars, you know about the region of Cydonia on Mars. And this is a picture of the region of Cydonia. Are you kidding me? Well, that is a very unimpressive picture of the region of Cydonia. Let's see how big we can make this. The wonders of live radio, or of live YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. See how large I can make this. Well, that's a little better. But this is a picture of the Cydonia region of Mars. And there's an increasing amount of evidence to suggest that this was actually an ancient civilization. If you look here and study this in depth, it looks like there could have been a city. It looks like there's a pyramid complex. There's the famous Mars face. There's a bastion or a fort, a wall, a crater. There's spiral mounds that look like they are made by intelligent design. And it also looks like, from judging both this and other places on the face of Mars, that Mars underwent some type of a cataclysmic event which caused it to be rapidly and completely destroyed. Now, of course, there is some speculation involved in this, but it's certainly something worth pondering, and it's certainly something I think worth considering. And then when we go into the biblical record, and we go to Jeremiah 4:23, and I think we should probably go first of all to Genesis 1:1 and 1:2, even though I've been over this with you 1,000 times. In the beginning, the Elohim created the heaven and the earth. And the earth, this word was, everywhere else in the scripture it's translated became. So in the beginning, the gods created the heaven and the earth became without form and void, darkness upon the face of the deep. And then the question becomes, how did it become without form and void? And that's where we go to Jeremiah chapter 4. And he tells us exactly how it became without form and void. It became without form and void. He looked at it. It was without form and void. And that Genesis 1:1, 1:2 is the only place in the entirety of the scriptures where the earth is in that condition. He looked, the earth was without form and void. Heavens had no light. Mountains trembled. Hills moving. No man. Interesting. There was man, else there would have been no mention of man, but man was killed. No birds. There were birds, but the birds had been killed, or they had at least fled, because there was mention of them. The fruitful place, the beautiful, productive lands had become a wilderness, a destruction. And all the cities, folks, if there's cities, that means there's more than one, and that means there's sufficient man or people to populate multiple cities. These cities were broken down. What? They were broken down at the presence of the Lord and by his fierce anger. And if we look into the original Hebrew, it says, by the blowing of fire through his nostrils. So the Lord got mad at the rest of the Elohim. I believe he might have had the Imhulu. He reacted and he destroyed planet Earth. And my question is, did he also destroy Mars? And he blew fire through his nostrils in his fierce anger, and just happens to be that Marduk, who the Lord has claimed to be on multiple occasions, that Marduk is known as the snake dragon. What do snake dragons do? Snake dragons blow fire through their nostrils and destroy things. Something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Did Marduk, aka the Lord, when he destroyed the earth, did he also destroy the planet Mars? A plus B sometimes does equal C. And with that, I will see you later. Something to consider: Mars, Marduk, and Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. This is New Cosmic Knowledge, where we encourage you to be your own guru, guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, and where we encourage you to ask questions, question answers. We remind you, you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free, and hope that you will unindoctrinate yourself.